Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you so much for joining. I want to seek the blessings of Radha Madhav, Radha Shamsundar, Krishna Bhagavan, Bhagavad Prabhupada, Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. Good. So today we wanted to look at the 12th chapter. 12th chapter is entitled Bhakti Yoga. Very, very famous chapter. The shortest chapter in the Gita, 20 verses. Chapter 15 also has 20 verses, but chapter 15 verses are a little longer, some of them, whereas these are quite short verses. And I would say one of the most important chapters in the Gita, and because it talks about Bhakti Yoga. And if we look at the Gita, the concept of Bhakti is developed right throughout the Gita, starting from the second chapter right through to where we are now, the 11th chapter. So many verses describe Bhakti because Bhakti is so important. So this is an idea. 261 talks about Bhakti, 330, 49, 529. There's quite a few verses in Dhyan Yoga which talks about Bhakti. 7th chapter, a couple of verses. Few verses in the 8th chapter, 9th chapter as well, 10th chapter. Quite a lot of verses. The essence of the Gita is all about Bhakti. And then we have the 11th chapter, which we did last time. So today, let's have a look at the 12th chapter. Summary of it. It's entitled Devotional Service because it discusses the path of Bhakti and the different stages one may undergo to achieve it, as well as the qualities of the devotees who have perfected it. And we gain insight into the more cherished aspects of God's personality and the disposition of the devotee who is fully in love with him. So there's three themes in this chapter. One is Arjuna asking Krishna the question, is it better to worship your personal form or your impersonal form? What do they mean when they say impersonal? That means a light shining from the effulgence of the Lord. And Krishna answers Arjuna very clearly, it's better to worship the personal form. Then Krishna gives various options as to how to reach the highest platform. And he gives so many different options, which is really interesting to see. And finally, he describes qualities which endear him to the perfect devotee. So, Rianch, would you like to read the first set of...
Yes, Vijay. Text 1. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in their devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Text 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. Text 3 to 4. But those who fully worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable, the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, by controlling the various senses or being equally disposed to everyone, such persons are engaged in the welfare of all, at last achieve it. Text 5. For those whose wills are attached to the unmanifested, impersonal feature of supreme, advanced wealth is very troublesome. To make progress in the discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Hare Krishna. Text 6 to 7. But those who worship me, giving up all all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service, and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Pritha. For them, I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death.
Thank you,
Hare
Rian.
Krishna.
Very, very good. So, in response to a question by Arjun, Krishna again picks up the discussion of impersonalism, i.e., God not having a form. It seems to be a recurring theme in the conversation, and one may ask why. So, the essence of our being is to be happy. Right? We want to be happy. Anandamaya Vyasa. Everybody wants to be happy. Nobody wants to be sad. Right? And the essence of such happiness is experienced in loving relationships. How can we become happy? When we have very sweet relationships with others. For a relationship to exist, there must be a subject, object, and reciprocity, i.e., we must have dealings with somebody. But impersonal notions of oneness kill all three. No subject, no object, no reciprocity. Therefore, it cheats the individual of true happiness. So that's why if one is attached to the impersonal form of the Lord, there will not be happiness involved. There will be Satchit, there will be Satchit, but no Anand. Sat, eternity, Chit, knowledge, but no happiness, no Anand. That is why we need to link with the Supreme in his personal form. Krishna explains that a personal approach to God through bhakti yoga is more practical in the immediate term and more fulfilling in the long term. While those who tread the impersonal path of spirituality undoubtedly receive spiritual merit, but their progress is piecemeal and is a great deal more troublesome. See, if you look at the seventh verse, 6th and 7th verse, Krishna says, those who fix their minds on him, meditating on him, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. It's very fast. So what is the lesson to learn? Worshipping the impersonal form of the Lord is very difficult. So those teachings which lead one to meditate on light or something like that, it's a very difficult process. And really in Kali Yuga, it's not appropriate at all. In any yuga, it's not appropriate, especially in Kali Yuga. All right. Numbers 8 onwards. Anybody like to read Chitra Manjari, maybe? Haven't heard you for a long time.
Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna everyone. Text 8. Just fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without doubt. Text 9. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. Text 10. If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Text 11. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to act, giving up all results of your work and try to be self-situated. Text 12. If you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, in meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such a renunciation, one can attain peace of mind.
Yes, thank you. So, Krishna is giving options. Thank you, Chitra. Krishna is giving options. He's saying first, fix your mind on me. All right. Say, okay, Arjuna, I understand. It's very hard for you to do that because this is mind is difficult to control. Then, if you can't fix your mind on me, follow the rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga. Okay, you can't do that. Then work for me. Oh, difficult for you to work for me. Then give up the results of your work. You're working for somebody else? Don't be attached to the results. Ah, we can't do that. Then minimum at least get some knowledge, get some gyan. Read Bhagavad Gita. No, listen to Gita. So this way, Krishna is giving options and he's lowering the bar to worship him. This is the kindness of the Lord. So just to go through that again. Fix a mind on Krishna, can't do that. Follow the rules and regulations of bhakti, can't do that. Work for Krishna, can't do that. Give up the results of one's work, can't do that. Then get some knowledge, at least get some knowledge. Minimum, get some knowledge. Okay. Krishna demonstrates his magnanimity and understanding. Having delineated the topmost practice of bhakti yoga, he goes on to offer other options, recognizing that some may find it difficult to immediately embrace a devotional path. So progressive steps towards a devotional spirit, including the practice of regulated spirituality, worship through one's daily work, and the cultivation of knowledge. So he's giving progressive steps. The spiritual path is not all or nothing, and one can begin their journey according to what is feasible and realistic. So we have to understand Krishna is such a kind father, supreme father, and he just wants us to be with him, and he's giving us so many different ways to get to him, and he's very patient and he's waiting for us to step up. So we're very fortunate. We can actually, because he's giving us this wonderful gyan, so simple, but yet so difficult to put into practice. Simple to understand, but difficult to put into practice. But at the same time, Krishna, he will guide us from within, he will guide us from outside. All we have to do is follow the practice. Keep following, keep following. We'll get there eventually. Okay, last one. Shyamalini, would you like to read?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you.
Text 13 to 14. One who is not envious but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is tolerant, always satisfied, self-controlled, and engaged in devotional service with determination, his mind and intelligence fixed on me. Such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. Text 15. He by whom no one is put into difficulty and is not disturbed by anyone, who is equiposed in happiness and distress, fear and anxiety, is very dear to me. Text 16. My devotee, who is not dependent on the ordinary course of activities, who is pure, expert, without cares, free from all pains, and not striving for some result, is very dear to me. Text 17. One who neither rejoices nor grieves, who neither laments nor desires, and who renounces both auspicious and inauspicious things. Such a devotee is very dear to me. Text 18 to 19. One who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equiposed in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, happiness and distress, fame and infamy, who is always free from contaminating association, always silent and satisfied with anything, who doesn't care for any residence, who is fixed in knowledge and who is engaged in devotional service. Such a person is very dear to me. Text 20. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Shamalini. So this is the end of Bhakti Yoga. If we look at this chapter, very interesting. Krishna speaks 8 verses. This is the Bhakta Astakam. He's glorifying his devotees. Normally we glorify Krishna, but here Krishna is glorifying his devotee right in the middle of, right in the center of Bhakti Yoga. Chapters from 7 to 12 Bhakti Yoga. Sorry, right at the end of Bhakti Yoga chapter. And such a amazing what he's saying. At the end of every verse, basically he's saying, such a devotee is dear to me, such a devotee is dear to me. And in 4 of those verses, he talks about how the devotee is equal in both happiness and distress. You see, he repeats that again and again and again and again. So it's such an important quality that he sees in his devotee, that whether the devotee is happy or unhappy, he's fixed. He never abandons Krishna. He becomes so happy, he will still think of Krishna. He becomes unhappy, he still thinks of Krishna. This is, Krishna likes that quality because he mentions it 4 times, not once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. So, very interesting. So, as one embarks on the spiritual journey, devotees begin to develop saintly qualities. Krishna concludes the chapter by elucidating the disposition of perfected devotees. Let's look at all the different qualities. Right? So these are all the different qualities he talks about. Non-envious, kind, free from false ego, equal in happiness, distress, satisfaction, placing no one in difficulty, free from anxiety, independence, independent from the ordinary course of activity, pure, expert, free from lamentation, neither looking for pleasure nor grief, equal with both friends and enemies, equipoised in honor and dishonor, heat and cold, free from contamination, silent, established in knowledge, satisfied. These are all the 18 different qualities Krishna describes in these 8 verses that pleases him when he sees these qualities in his devotee. So we can categorize these qualities in 4 different parts: attitudes towards one's self, ourselves, dealings with others, reaction when challenging situations arise, and dealing with the Lord. So there's 4 different qualities, types of qualities. Devotees endowed with such endearing character traits conquer the heart of Krishna, who becomes bound by their spotless devotion. Such are the dealings within the transcendental realm, where even the unconquerable supreme controller becomes a captive of love. This is what we're trying to do, love him, so that we can go back to him. So lesson 51, in 4 out of the 8 verses, Krishna mentions that the devotee who is equal to him, who is dear to him, is equal in both happiness and distress. This is the world this is the world mainly of distress. So what is the thought process of the devotees in distress? So how do we deal with distress? Oh. Thought process. So the thought process is that we basically, if difficulties come, the devotee's mood is, it could be a lot worse because of my past karma or my past dealings with others, with myself. It could be a lot worse. Krishna has reduced, he's reduced the pain, he's reduced the distress, he's reduced the challenge. And if we have that mood and attitude, then actually when the challenge comes, it becomes in itself less burdensome. And also another mood of the thought process of the devotees. Thank you, my dear Lord. Another, Guru Maharaj used to often say, another karma is finished. I don't have to suffer another karma, this karma again, because it's gone, it's finished. Whatever it was meant to be, it's done, gone. Or if we're in the process of suffering, then it will end. The suffering will end at some point. So these mood of this sort of thought process helps the devotee focus their thinking in the right direction. It's very easy when we come under so much stress and distress and challenges. It's easy to say, is there a God? He doesn't exist. Why? If he existed, he wouldn't put me through such difficult times. But actually, any challenge comes, we're putting ourselves in that situation. It's not that he's put us in that situation. We've done it. We have to become completely accountable and completely responsible for our situation. We can't blame others for our situation. We have created it. It's not God who's created it. It's not somebody outside of us who has created the situation. We've created our own situation. So if we have that attitude and the attitude of gratitude that, yes, okay, this is a tough situation, this is a challenging situation, but I'm still grateful to you, Krishna, for whatever it is. My gratitude is never lost. Even in the most challenging times, I am still grateful to you for everything you give us, including this challenging situation. That helps. As soon as you have a terrible place to be, where you're in a bad place, and you thank the Lord, suddenly a cloud lifts from your shoulder. Oh, thank you, my dear. So it's just psychological, I suppose, but it definitely helps. It definitely helps me. Any questions? Any comments? Very beautiful chapter. Very, very beautiful chapter. One of the best chapters. Is Krishna's.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and all the devotees. You are right, the way you said about, like, if we are in difficulties and we are telling God, why did you do this difficult and why you brought difficult time in my life? But it's our karma, whatever we have done in the past, it comes back. So you can't blame God or you can't blame anybody else.
Mm.
You are, the way you are telling me, I think it's right. All the we do have difficult times in our life, but we don't have to say why it came to the God.
Why me?
Why me? Or we just say to ourselves, he's the one who is going to give us a path to come out from that difficult.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's, I mean, and you have to be, what, I don't know how to say that in English, but slowly, like in Gujarati, we say, Dirajna for Mithashe.
Yes, yes.
So
Very good. Very
it's
good
good,
point.
you know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you so much. Okay.
And we do come out from that. It doesn't
Yes.
stay there all the time.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Nothing.
And
nothing
I have missed 2 days, like Saturday and Sunday. Saturday I found difficult to join. I don't know what happened.
No, we didn't have satsang because we were in the mandir, and it was a little hard to do the Zoom. So
Oh, okay. And then Sunday there was no satsang too.
Sunday as well, no satsang.
Okay, that's fine. Then it's okay. That I thought that I don't know what happened. You
Yeah,
said
no, couldn't do
it's
because
okay.
we were in the mandir. So
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. 2 days I'm all right. I've joined. Did you do? It was when I joined. It was already 35 past. So have you done a bhajan today?
no,
By
no bhajan
Aru?
because Karuna is not in the country. She's out. She's traveling. So
Okay. Yeah, I thought I missed the bhajan. That's why.
yeah, we
That's
missed
okay then.
it.
Well, safe journey wherever she's gone.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.